Hey guys, Siro and Disney here, and we're going to talk a little TNA Impact. And before I get started, a little housekeeping like we do here on Pop. I talked to Will earlier today, and will be gracing us all with his presence here on the channel very, very soon. So, I'm very hopeful in 2014 everything will go back to how it used to be before work and school and everything. Obviously those things will still be there, but hopefully we'll still have time for some of these awesome videos as well. So Will be returning to the channel very soon. As soon as this holiday rush is over, Ben will be returning to the channel, and we all await Molly's debut with the channel very soon. Now, AJ and I are trying to brainstorm, and we've come up with a brand new segment that is coming to Pop in 2014. Don't know exactly when, and it won't be for every movie, but it sounds like we're going to be doing a brand new segment, and I can't really give details yet, but I can say that there will be a nice little segment that's going to come out of it for people that love their AJ content, and I know you guys and girls out there do. There's going to be a brand new segment coming to the channel very soon, so stay tuned for information about that. So, I need to put everything in the playlist. I need to do everything keywords. I understand that. Sorry, I haven't got a chance to do it yet. Obviously, I was home, so I wasn't able to really do anything like that. I just got to put videos on the channel. There's blank spaces in the description bars, everything. So that needs to be rectified, and it will be sooner rather than later. So, let's talk about the plan, shall we? Now, AJ's movie review for The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, or Smaug, depending on your pronunciation of it, and Anchorman 2, as well as Out of the Furnace and Tyler Perry's Medea Christmas. Yeah, we ripped that one a new one, like you thought we wouldn't. That review will be up very soon. I'm actually having some issues uploading it, so hopefully I'll get it uploaded very soon. Now, another thing on top of that, tomorrow we will be going to the theater yet again for another series of films. We're actually going to be watching American Hustle, AJ's first time and my fourth time seeing Saving Mr. Banks, and Walking with Dinosaurs. That's all going to be on tomorrow, and that video will be posted as soon as possible. Now, on top of that, on Saturday, it looks like we're going to watch American Hustle again. Saturday will also mark my return of the NXT and SmackDown recap, so that's going to be on Saturday. Sunday, we got a brand new Versus, and what a Versus it's going to be. A Versus I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I don't have a cryptic comment for you. I really think you will enjoy it, though. It's going to be very good. It is an Oscar-themed Versus in every single way possible. So, stay tuned to that for Sunday. And the movie reviews of Dallas Buyers Club and Philomena will be coming later in the week. Later next week, because we can't watch them until Monday night. So, you will have to get your Raw recap probably Tuesday morning, depending on when I get back from Athens. We will probably, I will watch Raw, and then I'll make some notes, and then I'll probably shoot the video in the morning if it's not too late, because I got to work 3 to 9 on Christmas Eve. So, because of that, I am not able to do Raw live. So, we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, wrestling content coming back with a vengeance to this channel. Will I do a recap of TLC? I didn't last year, obviously. I may. It kind of depends, honestly. I might some point. Who knows? But this is all set in stone, and a lot of reviews coming to the channel. Another review that's going to be coming up really soon will be Blue is the Warmest Color. As a matter of fact, it's going to be on tomorrow's video with American Hustle, Saving Mr. Banks, and Walking with Dinosaurs. Yeah, it's really interesting to throw it in with those. But then again, other than Walking with Dinosaurs, they're all awards contenders, so that's the proof's in the pudding, right? So, like AJ mentioned in the video that unfortunately has not posted yet, which is the movie review that was filmed earlier today, there was a big issue with AJ's computer. So that's being fixed as we speak. It's going to be several days before AJ has functionality on his laptop. So, because of that, the reviews of Mandela and Diana, which were going to be coming to the channel this week, will probably be coming maybe next week. Or we might do it midweek, just kind of depends. So, a lot of things still to come. And more movies. Of course, we have Christmas Day, which is The Wolf of Wall Street, and Grudge Match, as well as the day after Christmas, 47 Ronin and A Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So that is all coming to Pop very soon. And another movie that we're really excited about coming to Athens, and that is going to be Inside Llewyn Davis. So once again, we're going to be traveling to Athena Cinema to see a Coen Brothers film for the second time. The first movie we ever watched in the Athena Cinema was a Coen Brothers film. It was A Serious Man. And it makes total sense that the next one we get to see in a theater from the Coen Brothers is also at Athena Cinema. So that's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. Not the only Coen Brothers movie you've seen theatrically, but you know what I mean. It's really kind of cool to see the first movie from the Coen Brothers, and now this one is the Coen Brothers. Not like it's going to be our last one or anything, not even close, but still it's kind of cool. So we got that taken care of. A lot of things are going to be changing in the near future. We are going to be more heavy on an actual schedule. So in 2014 we're going to have an actual schedule, and hopefully everything works out with that. And we're always looking for new contributors here to Pop as well, so if you want to become a Popcaster yourself, stay tuned to the end of the video as normal, and I will read off the laundry list of ways to get a hold of me, so you can do just that. But without any further ado, let's talk TNA, and I will say right now that the editions of Impact that are going to be airing on January 2nd and January 9th, you'll see a very familiar face. And I'm wearing my Mr. Anderson t-shirt. Me and Joe were in attendance at the very top of the bleachers on the hard cam side and the new Impact Zone. So that was, which is Soundstage 19, right next to the Blue Man Group. That's where Nickelodeon Studios used to film a lot, actually. And you can definitely tell with the some of the signs, like the big elephant door you'll see in the background. And kind of like how Grinchmas has the green bleachers, very Nickelodeon right there too, so there you go. But yeah, those two showings, the first two Impacts of 2014, I am in attendance for, so yeah, I'm not going to spoil those. I'm going to talk about them when we get to them. And I try not to read any spoilers on this as well. The show that I watched tonight, which is Final Resolution, was filmed on December 3rd. And I was never going to be able to make December 3rd because obviously I didn't come down to the 4th. The 4th filmed the second set of tapings, the ones that you will see next week on Impact. And that was the second set of tapings. I shouldn't have been able to make it. I would have made it, but I went to Saving Mr. Banks instead. And December 5th was the final set of tapings, and that would be your January 2nd and January 9th tapings. And those were the ones I did attend. And those were the final TNA Impact tapings of 2013 at Orlando's Impact Zone. The new Impact Zone, Soundstage 19, which I don't know if it will remain the Impact Zone, but like I said, a little birdie told me that there may be a change in, let's just say, ring size, if you know what I mean, coming really soon to the Impact Zone when TNA supposedly returns in February. That's what we're hearing as of right now. I'm hearing February. I heard from somebody very reliable that February is the date. So I'm going to mark your calendars if you want to attend TNA at Universal Orlando. So there's always that. Final Resolution is the final free preview of the calendar year for Impact Wrestling. And we ended it off with a bang. The finals of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. The charismatic Enigma Jeff Hardy against Magnus. And that was the match I said it was going to be, the Dixieland match, which basically turned out to be a climb over the cage. You have to climb over the cage to escape. You can't go through the door because it's kind of padlocked. and then you had to go up the ramp, climb up the ladder, take the championship, and that's how you win the title. So that's what we've got. So, without any further ado, let's talk about the show. And I will say right now, this show had 3 matches in 2 hours. This was heavy, heavy, heavy on storyline. Given the fact it's TNA's last free preview of the year, I guess it somewhat made sense, but maybe 1 or 2 more matches. Not quite sure why. So we get my notes here, which are really hard to read, but that's why I look downwards when I do these recaps here. So Magnus starts the show, he comes out, he basically says he loves the business, and he's proud that for almost 5 years he's made his living in the United States. But, just like everyone else, he has to realize one simple, solid fact: money does talk. It's not about money to him. It's simply about pride, honor, dignity, respect. And then he basically says, can this all be said same about Jeff Hardy? Now, Jeff, not only did you beat your demons, you quite slayed them. But one little demon, one little sin remains, and that's simply greed. Greed is creeping in and day out. I saw you with Dixie, we all did. And it was a fact. Jeff, you simply owe us an explanation. So, he says he's not going to let anybody fool him, even though the creatures are going to believe everything he's going to say. He's not so easily swayed, and tells them not to let Jeff Hardy to fool you. So Jeff Hardy, of course, comes out, and he basically says, you don't even know me. I'm not letting any chances go, is what Magnus says. He basically asks Hardy to explain himself. He says, I didn't forget October 10th, 2010. And Hardy basically says, I was a different person. That was a different time in my life. And Magnus calls his bluff and pretty much says that, yeah, there may have been a different time, but you were the same person, and that same person still resonates inside you, no matter how much you want to push it down. You sold out, simple as that. You made a deal with the devil, and you made a deal with the devil for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I truly believe you may be doing this yet again. Everyone forgave you, but what will fans think if you again sell out? Hardy looks at him and basically says, worry about your life, don't worry about mine. And that's the end of the first segment. Good way to set up the show. And of course, you put the seeds of doubt that Jeff Hardy is not on the up and up. Obviously, Hardy's heel run, which was really awesome actually, worked really well for the company. Even though you took your most popular superstar and you made him into a huge heel. I would say that you put the seeds of the thoughts in people's minds that you were going to get Jeff Hardy turning heel again. Obviously, you knew it was going to happen, but, I mean, some fans, you would get that little tiny bit of doubt that Hardy was in cahoots with Dixie Carter. So this is a way to start this, and Magnus pretty much just calls his bluff, and Jeff Hardy doesn't defend himself, he just leaves. It's not your business. So, interesting to see where we go from there. We go right into our first match, and another tremendous match. This time, 2 out of 3 falls in the ongoing war between the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle and the It Factor Bobby Roode. Once again, time after time, Bobby Roode proves he is one of the MVPs of Impact Wrestling. Every single day in, day out, Bobby Roode brings it. And it's awesome with Roode and Magnus, who by and large are TNA homegrown talent. They are working with Sting, they are working with Jeff Hardy, and they are working with Kurt Angle. And what they're doing is they are shining in these roles. Bobby Roode especially, the longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion of all time. And he can hang with Angle. Not only can he hang with Kurt Angle, he can beat Kurt Angle every single time. It seems like he's always had Angle's number. In Angle's match, when he basically just decided to completely say no to Hall of Fame, what happened? Bobby Roode won. And Bobby Roode won again. And Bobby Roode keeps on winning. And Angle just cannot figure out Bobby Roode. So that sets this match up. 2 out of 3 falls. Angle and Roode. Of course, this is not the last we're going to see of this storyline. I think we probably go... I mean, this thing could go to Bound for Glory at this point. And that's in October next year. I would say, if I had to guess, a good way to do this would be maybe do a lethal lockdown between the two. Just a singles match in March at lockdown, and then that's how you just blow it off. And you put over who you want to put over. But there is going to be a rematch. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. There's going to be a rematch of these two inside a cage at Genesis on January 16th. And this is when you put Kurt Angle over, obviously. You can't have this be one-sided. Obviously, Rude's got to get the upper hand, and eventually, money's to be made with the babyface getting the win. So, Angle's got to win at Genesis. That's what I predict to happen. But, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about this 2 out of 3 falls match, shall we? So we go midway through the match, and Angle hits an overhead release belly-to-belly suplex, and the momentum carries Bobby Roode to the floor. So Angle goes out to try to meet him, and a big forearm, 2 of them in succession, and he tosses Roode into the rail, tosses him back in, he charges in, Roode gets the boot up, and Angle runs face first into it, goes for a clothesline, Angle ducks, and he goes for the locomotion German suplexes. So he goes for the Angle slam, and of course, as so many times he's done before, Bobby Roode arm drags his way out. Puts Brian Hebner in the way. This distraction allows for Bobby Roode to kick Angle right in the groin, and when the referee turns around, Roode plants him with a Spicoli driver, and 1, 2, 3, Bobby Roode up 1-0 on Kurt Angle, wins the first fall. So we come back to live action from the commercial break, and there's a sleeper hold applied, or a chin lock. It looked like a sleeper hold to me. And Angle elbows his way out, and he comes off the ropes. Roode mows him over with a back elbow and ends up taking him down. Roode goes for the leaping knee drop. Angle rolls out of the way, and whip in reverse. Big flying forearm, 2 big clotheslines, overhead belly-to-belly suplex with a release yet again. He charges in, he misses, and he goes shoulder first into the ring post. This allows Roode to get the upper hand momentarily. But it is all for nothing because Angle ends up planting the Angle slam out of nowhere, and a 1, 2, 3, it's over. So second fall goes to Kurt Angle. So Angle tosses Roode back in the ring because Roode went to the floor to try to get out of there, obviously. Once again, the rolling Germans, and this time, Roode breaks it with the elbows to break up the grip, and then he elbows to the side of the head. He charges in and does Kurt Angle, and he gets locked in the crossface. Angle bridges back, trying to get a pin, 1, 2, and a kick out. So, Roode goes for a backslide, and he gets turned into the crossface yet again. Angle counters with the Angle slam. Roode lands on his feet, and the flying armbar, or single arm DDT, depending on who's calling your match, turned into the crossface yet again from Bobby Roode, and Angle grabs the ankle, it's hard to say if you don't say it slow, locks in the ankle lock, and the ankle lock gets countered into the crossface by Kurt Angle. So Angle's got the crossface on Bobby Roode, that python-like grip of Angle really going to effect at this point. So Roode counters, and he gets countered by Angle into the Angle slam. 1, 2, Bobby Roode kicks out. Roode goes to the floor to try to group a little bit, obviously, and Angle follows him out, and he ends up tossing Bobby Roode back in the ring. He goes for the ankle lock in the center of the ring, and Roode front flip. He rolls in a forward roll, hooks the leg, hooks the middle rope, 1, 2, 3, and Bobby Roode wins 2-1. So once again, Bobby Roode gets the upper hand over Kurt Angle, yet again proving why Bobby Roode is one of the top superstars in Impact Wrestling, if not professional wrestling today. So, I will say right now the right person went over, and if they're going to keep building momentum for Bobby Roode, Angle has to win eventually, and I know they're going to meet at Genesis. This isn't known here. Only reason I know they're going to meet at Genesis is because I was there when the match was made. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. But they're going to meet at Genesis. I know this hasn't been announced to the public yet. Sorry I'm bringing it up right now. This isn't really like me, but I know this, so I'm obviously going to let that be known. When they meet at Genesis, Angle has to go over, obviously. If the end game is Bobby Roode to win this feud, that's fine. But Angle has to win at Genesis, especially if it's not the final match in the series. I think, to be honest, you remember the I know this is bad bringing this up because obviously this brings up a lot of bad memories. There was a series, a best of 7 series in WCW. And it was for the World Television Championship. And yeah, it's somebody that obviously kind of, if I mention this person's name, I may just lose one viewer, but I doubt it. I doubt people are that about it. But the best of 7 series for the WCW World Television Championship between Booker T and Chris Benoit. That's what I want to see with Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. I want to see a best of 7 series and the finals be at... Well, we can go to Slammiversary. That'd be cool. No problem to go to Slammiversary. If you want to drag it out to Bound for Glory, you could. If you keep them apart long enough, but still keep them at each other's throats at the same time, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So yeah, once again, an excellent match between these two. They really know how to bring it in the ring, and they have tremendous chemistry, so that's awesome. So, EY comes out, and Eric Young brings out his tag team partner, Joseph Park, once again trying his experimentation about getting Park to realize that he is Abyss. That's the reason he can't find Abyss, because it's Abyss staring right back at him when he looks in the mirror. He simply says, "You are Abyss." And Park goes, no, I'm not Abyss. My name is Joseph Park. Abyss is my brother. And of course, Eric tells us all once again that he's a scientist. And he says that he used his hand to physically make Joseph Park bleed. And when Park started to bleed, what happened? The monster came out. This is a 2-part experiment. Part number 1, next week, there's going to be a match. The match is going to be The Bad Influence, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian, taking on Joseph Park. Park's like, no, are you kidding me? What are you trying to do to me? I thought you were my friend. And EY's like, honestly, I'll make it even better. It's going to be in your match. It's going to be a monstrous ball match. So Park thinks about it for a split second, says, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. That's my brother's match. It's not mine. I'm just an attorney that's trained in wrestling now. I can't do a monstrous ball match against Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. It's not possible. So Young says, I kind of had a feeling you were going to say that. So I have reinforcements. And I know how much you love Christmas, so I'm going to give you a couple gifts. I wrapped them myself, and you can tell I wrapped them. So he unwraps the first gift, and it's a steel chair. Unwraps the second gift, it's a box. Opens the box, and the bag of tacks is in the ring. A nice little PS to our longtime wrestling fans when Eric Young looks at Joseph Park when he's about to see in the bag. He's like, don't worry, there's no snake in there. I thought that was funny. And the third is a bale of barbed wire. He says, I saved the best for last. Because apparently Park says, none of this does anything for me. I don't know what you're trying to do. So what does he pull out? Under the ring is the nailboard Janus. So he looks at it for a second. His eyes get wide and says, alright, EY, I'll do it. So it's official. Next week on Impact, you're going to see the Bad Influence against Joseph Park in a Monsters Ball match. So once again, this is finally setting the record straight with what everybody has given TNA a lot of flack for with this Joseph Park angle. Started out really well, and I've enjoyed it so far, but it's run its course, and TNA realizes this, so obviously this is going to officially transition to 2014, being when Joseph Park is realizing himself that he is Abyss. So we're going to split the Joseph Park character. We had a nice little run for the Joseph Park character, but Abyss has to come back, and he will. And this is what will bring him back. So, because of the Feast or Fired match last week that I unfortunately didn't get to call because obviously I was kind of busy, I would say that there was 4 briefcases that were claimed. Feast or Fired is kind of like Deal or No Deal, honestly. And it's done very Celebrity Apprentice style. So, there is a reveal with the 4 men that won the briefcases. A briefcase went to Gunner. And a briefcase went to Chavo Guerrero Jr. A briefcase went to Zema Ion, and a briefcase, of course, went to Ethan Carter III, who was pretty much thrown in the match at the last minute because Sting pretty much just questions his integrity. So, these four men sit at a boardroom, like a makeshift boardroom at a table, and basically they are all there with JB pretty much acting as host. Dixie comes out, and they made this completely just, they're playing it off as a shoot, so we'll see where we go from this. So, Zema Ion gets the first case, and he says there's a 100% chance I'm going home. Furthermore, there's a 100% chance of going home with gold, and he makes his siren noise, his beep noise, or boo, the horn noise. I don't know exactly what to call it. Yeah, it's air horn noise. There you go. And of course, the first case is revealed. Zema Ion gets an X Division title shot. So Zema Ion will be facing Austin Aries, or so it seems, in the near future. I don't want to give anything away about there may or may not be a title change in 2014. I do know for a fact the answer to this question, but I can't really tell you guys yet. So, so he gets the X Division title shot. That was the right booking anyway. So Gunner gets the second case, and he reveals that he's getting a World Heavyweight title shot. So Chavo's confident he's going to get a World Tag Team title shot. And EC3 is a Carter, so he can't lose. Sting walks in. He plays Monty Hall and basically offers himself up to be the recipient of whatever punishment or gift is going to be in the final briefcase, but only if EC3 faces him in the ring. He thinks about it for a split second and tells Sting, no, I'll take the case. So they open the case at the same time, and it's revealed that Ethan Carter III is the recipient of a tag team title shot. With who, I'm not sure. Maybe Rockstar Spud, potentially. Or, and it could be anybody at this point, who knows. And Chavo Guerrero is now fired. Sting pretty much says this is the beginning of the end for the Carter's reign in TNA. I don't know if this means that this will be the return on camera of Jeff Jarrett that I have been talking about since the Aces and Eights angle, but we'll get to that later on. I don't mind Feast or Fired, to be totally honest, but it's interesting to see who wins what. So let's look at this, shall we? Chavo's gone. I don't know if that means he's going to be a road agent or if his contract's up. It could be one of the two at this point. I think Chavo would probably be a road agent at this point. It makes total sense. Zema Ion should have been the one to get the X Division title shot. He does. That makes total sense. Obviously, he got a serious injury. He came back from it, and now he's with the Bromans as their DJ. It makes sense. He's got an X Division title shot. Ethan Carter III gets a tag team title shot. Doesn't really make much sense, but I'm sure they can make it make sense. And Gunner gets the world title shot. But Gunner may not have that case forever. I'm not going to say any more than that, but stay tuned 2014 for TNA. So, we talk all about Gail Kim's open challenge and bringing in everybody into the company and beating everyone. Well, apparently she beat a lot of people while I was gone, the 2 weeks I was gone. So, she made her challenge last week, and a gorgeous redhead, who I didn't see out of the corner of my eye, obviously, came in and speared her, and it was revealed to be the look of, in my opinion, the best looking knockout in TNA, without any question, Madison Rayne. So, Madison Rayne makes her official return to TNA, which is awesome. I'm very happy about that. I wish I could have been in attendance for one of these matches, but unfortunately, I missed it by a day. So because of this, we have a tag team match, which is Gail Kim and Lady Tapa taking on ODB and Madison Rayne in tag team action. So we're going midway through the match, and there's a Canadian backbreaker drop, and that's on ODB by Tapa. Chokes her on the middle rope, whip in, and there's the kick of fear. Tagging to Gail Kim, she tries to steal the pin, 1-2, ODB kicks out. European uppercut and a choke with a boot. So Whip In, charges in, misses, and she gets tossed up in the air and off to the side. So tagging to Madison Rayne, 2 clotheslines, and the hair mare out of the corner, clothesline off the ropes, Whip In reverse, and the big spear from Madison. Tapa comes in, and ODB stops her with a sleeper on her back. This dumps her to the floor, and Gail with a forearm to the back of the neck on Madison Rayne. Short arm clothesline on Madison, and tries to finish her off with Eat Defeat. Gets countered in a backslide. She steps up on her heels, 1, 2, 3, and Madison Rayne wins it. Okay match for what it was. Building towards Madison Rayne and Gail Kim at Genesis. I don't know this for a fact. I know this to be what I think will probably happen. So yeah, I think that there's going to be, obviously with the way the Gail Kim challenge works, this match will lead to a singles match, which will be the official Gail Kim challenge. And if Madison Rayne wins, she gets a title shot. Madison Rayne will win, and then she'll get the title shot at Genesis. That's what makes sense to me. Because at this juncture in TNA, there's really nobody that can take the title off Gail Kim as a heel. So there's got to be some babyface brought back in, and I don't see Kong coming back to Impact as much as I'd really like it to happen. So who knows what's going to happen next time. Sorry, the sinuses. It's been really weird weather lately. So Dixieland is final. Final match of the evening. TNA World Heavyweight Championship Tournament Final. And of course, like I mentioned, Dixieland is basically escape the cage, up the ramp, climb the ladder, retrieve the championship, win the championship. Simple as that. So, Jeff Hardy pretty much says that he's done a lot of bad things and a lot of good things, but he's always had people by his side. Doesn't matter what's going to happen. He just knows that he's ready to fight and he's ready to take the championship back. And he's going to be a defending champion just like AJ Styles was. And still is, technically. So Dixie comes out and basically says that Jeff and AJ pretty much have one major thing in common, that they both owe their extreme success to Dixie Carter. AJ owes the success to TNA, yes. Jeff Hardy, obviously, that little run with the WWE Championship back in the day, yeah, that's probably glossed over in Impact. Understandable why. So, basically, it's just done to get heel heat. So, Dixie is going to watch this match from ringside, or watch this from ramp side at this point, because there's a cage surrendering, and obviously she can't get involved. So, we'll see what happens with that. They've had a very interesting route to get to the finals of the tournament. Jeff Hardy won the first match in the tournament, defeating Chris Sabin in a Full Metal Mayhem match. So Magnus, on the other hand, he got his first win in a Falls Count Anywhere match against his former World Tag Team Championship partner, Samoa Joe. Jeff Hardy beat Bobby Roode in a tables match, and to get to the finals, Magnus won a last man standing match with Kurt Angle. So that was their road to the championship final, and this is the match. So we come back to live action. Second commercial break of the match. Hardy tries to climb through the camera hole, which JB specifically says you have to climb over the top of the cage, and you can't go through the cage. Obviously, there's no cage door because it's kind of bolted up. But he tries to pull a loophole and escape through the camera hole, but it's all for nothing because Magnus pulls him back out anyway, and he grabs the foot and a spinning back kick from Jeff Hardy kicks off Magnus, and inverted atomic drop, and he drops both heels in the midsection, seated drop kick, and when Magnus gets up, he gets nailed with a flying forearm off the ropes. So Hardy climbs up, Magnus climbs up to catch him, Magnus gets kicked off, and he leaps backwards off the cage with a big splash. This allows for Magnus to again groggily reach his feet, boot in the midsection, the Twist of Fate 1, which is basically Twist of Fate done like an Ace Crusher. And this backs Magnus into the corner. Excuse me. He goes for the Twist of Fate again. He gets countered. Pillman clip by Magnus sends Hardy down. Obviously, he can't climb the cage if he's on one leg. Makes total sense. locks on the cloverleaf, and this is basically just done to put him down momentarily. So Magnus climbs up, Hardy stops and pulls him off, and Magnus ends up nailing the press up into the suplex, which was a release this time around. So he basically pressed up into a side suplex. Kind of like the way that a Spicoli driver works, but not quite. So, looked really well, and Magnus goes up top, hits the top rope elbow, and Hardy's down and out. So, Magnus gets the upper hand. Whip in to the buckle. He charges in. Hardy gets up the back elbow. Climbs up. Nails the Whisper in the Wind on Magnus. And Hardy climbs over the top. Decides to leap off the top of the cage and plants Magnus with Whisper in the Wind. Looked awesome, by the way. Off the top of the cage. Hardy climbs up. Magnus climbs at the same time. And EC3, who's materialized from the back, runs out. And he's going to try to stop Magnus. Gotta play that up a little bit, obviously. And he gets knocked off the cage. Hardy ends up reaching the floor. Magnus reaches the floor, and Hardy plants EC3 with the Twist of Fate on the floor. So he's taken out. And they trade blows, does Magnus and Jeff Hardy. And the boot in the midsection, Twist of Fate on the ramp. And Hardy climbs. He's about ready to grab the title. What happens? Rockstar Spud in his pink shirt run out. Shoves the ladder over. This sends him hard to the ramp. And this allows for Magnus to take the final opportunity, ascend the ladder, and grab the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Your winner of Dixieland and the finals of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship Tournament is Magnus. Once again, they have gone from Magnus wanting to leave the company because he didn't feel like he was being utilized correctly. This was back in the Ring Ka King days. And now, what is Magnus? Magnus is the World Heavyweight Champion, so that's pretty awesome. Magnus has come a long way since the British invasion and being Brutus Magnus, since he dropped the name. I would say right now that I like this a lot. I like Magnus and Dixie and EC3 and Rockstar Spud aligning themselves together. I know what you're going to say, oh, and it's just a rehash of what's best for business. Not really. Kind of, but not really. Even if it is, it doesn't really matter because they're two separate companies, even though they try to be the same. At least Impact tries to be a little bit like WWE. But, you know, I mean, I'm tired of people saying this, so I don't want to be the one to say this as well. So, yeah. I didn't mind Magnus going over. I think it was the right thing to do. And, of course, Jeff Hardy sets up a rematch somewhere down the line. If that ends up happening, who knows? I don't know what happens the next couple weeks, so we'll see what happens with that. That was Final Resolution. Not enough matches for my taste. Heavy on storyline. Heavy on talking about the Feast or Fired match, and then the logical conclusion. Where's Chavo go from here? Like I said, will he be a road agent? Is his contract up? I think he'll be a road agent, to be totally honest. It makes total sense. Hernandez can go on to a singles career. I don't have a problem with that. That's actually a good idea. So, he might get a new tag team partner. I think, you know, TNA needs to put some money down and bring Homicide back so we can get LAX back together and have LAX go after the Bromans in 2014. I think that'd be a great idea. So, there's a lot of things you could go, a lot of directions you can go, and it'll be interesting to see where TNA does go in 2014. But we're still not done yet, folks. We still have one more Impact 2013 and then two more for 2014, the ones I was at, and then Genesis on January 16th. So, there's always that. That was Impact. Enjoyable show for what it was. Could have been better, yeah, of course, but still serviceable for a 2-hour free preview. If I had an extra hour, I'd say there's been a couple more matches. Maybe some of the interaction between Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson, which is completely glossed over on this show. And obviously the X Division Championship, which apparently is now being feuded over with Chris Sabin and Austin Aries. So that was also not covered on the show, other than the fact that Zema Ion got a shot at whomever is the champion somewhere down the line. And the Bromans did not defend the Tag Team Championships, even though they are pretty much set to defend against Ethan Carter III and a partner of his choosing somewhere down the line as well. So, interesting to see where we go from here. So, once again, that was the Impact recap. Once again, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. If you want to like us on Facebook, it's Suro and Disney Pop, and you can like Pop on Facebook. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Suro and Disney. If you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions to my email, suroanddisney@gmail.com, that thing I talked about earlier about being a popcaster, that's how you do it. And finally, last but certainly not least, if you want to be my friend on Facebook, sure, go right ahead, send me a request, it's Owen Disney. In the meantime, wrestling fans, I will join you yet again on Saturday for NXT and SmackDown. Impact Wrestling fans, I will join you next week. I do work 6 to 11 on Thursday night, so I won't be able to do Impact Live for you guys. But I will try to do it Thursday night. If not, it will be Friday morning. Because, as of this moment, we don't have any movies. Because we'll have everything covered. So, yay! That's going to be awesome. And next week, we have our final Academy Awards nomination video for 2013. We're going to talk about that. My predictions have changed quite a bit. Another Versus in the Oscar-themed Versus, one we've been waiting for a while, actually, that we've been talking about doing for a while, and that's coming to the channel, as well as AJ's movie reviews of the Christmas movies, which will be Wolf of Wall Street, 47 Ronin, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and finally, Grudge Match, so. We also will be talking about other things, limited release movies, and Inside Llewyn Davis will be coming to the channel very soon. As soon as we have it, we're going to get it, and even if we have to go to Columbus, I'll tell you right now, we will be watching Nebraska and August Osage County sooner rather than later. In the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Thank you for spreading the word about Pop and the Popcaster Revolution, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.